All right, guys, this is test number 4 in the opening range breakout series. In the first test, I tested the long only version with a 1R target. In the second test, I tested the short only version with a 1R target. In the third test, I tested both directions with a 1R target. Now, for this test, I'm going back to the long side only, but I'm changing one thing. Instead of taking profit at 1R, I'm testing a 2R target. So the strategy is still long only. It still uses the first 15 minutes of the trading day from 9:30 to 9:45 Eastern Time. During that time, I mark the opening range high and the opening range low. If price breaks above the opening range high, the strategy enters long. The stop loss goes at the opening range low, but this time the take profit is set to 2R. That means the target is 2 times the size of the risk. Using the same example, if the opening range high is 60.50 and the opening range low is 60.38, the long entry would be 60.51. Stop loss would be 60.38. That gives us 13 points of risk. In the 1R test, the target would be 13 points above the entry, so the take profit would be 60.64. But in the 2R test, the target is double the risk. So instead of targeting 13 points, we are targeting 26 points. That means the 2R take profit would be 60.77. So the only major change in this test is the target. Same long only setup, same opening range, same stop loss, same 1 day per trade. But now the take profit is 2R instead of 1R. The reason why I'm testing this is simple. The long only 1R test had a small positive edge. So now I want to see if giving the winners more room improves the results, or if the win rate drops too much. The settings are simple. No indicators, no news filters, no guessing, long only, 1 trade per day, break above the opening range high, stop loss at the opening range low, take profit at 2R. Now, let's take a look at the MetaTrader 5 report and see what happened when the target was changed from 1R to 2R. All right, now we're looking at the actual MetaTrader 5 report for the long only 2R opening range breakout test. Before looking at the profit, I want to confirm the settings. The test is on the S&P 500 on the 1-minute chart. The settings show that long trades were turned on and the short trades were turned off. The risk reward is set to 2. So this is a true long only 2R test. The test had 1,372 total trades. Of those trades, 494 were winners and 878 were losers. That gives us a win rate of 36.01%. So right away we can see the win rate dropped a lot compared to the 1R test. But that makes sense because the target is now further away. A 2R target is harder to hit than a 1R target. Now let's look at the money side. Gross profit was $141,950.20. The gross loss was negative $128,908.47. So after subtracting the losses from the wins, the final net result was positive $13,041.73. The profit factor was 1.1. For me, that means this strategy made more than a loss, and this version performed better than the long only 1R test. The average winning trade was $287.35. The average losing trade was about negative $146.82. That is the key reason this test made money. Even though the strategy lost more trades than it won, the winners were much bigger than the losers. The expected payoff was $9.51 per trade. That means on average, each trade made about $9.51. The equity drawdown was about 6.66%, and the maximum losing streak was 11 losses in a row. Looking at the balance graph, we can see the account did finish higher overall. It was not a smooth straight line. There were drawdowns and slow periods, but overall, this version ended positive. So compared to the long only 1R test, this long only 2R test had a lower win rate, but it made more money. That is important. The 1R version won more often, but the 2R version had bigger winners. So my honest conclusion is simple. The long only opening range breakout with a 2R target did pass this test. It had a lower win rate, but the reward was bigger, and the final result was better than the 1R version. That does not mean this is a finished strategy yet. It still had a lot of losses, it still had an 11 trade losing streak, and it still needs more testing. But based on the report, the long only 2R version looks better than the long only 1R version. This is exactly why I'm testing one change at a time. So that wraps up test number 4. In this test, I kept the strategy long only, but changed the take profit from 1R to 2R. The strategy had 1,372 trades, 494 wins, 878 losses, and a 36.01% win rate. The final net result was positive $13,041.73 with a 1.1 profit factor. So even though the win rate dropped, the strategy still made money because the average winner was much bigger than the average loser. For me, this is the best result so far in the ORB series. The long only 1R test had a small positive edge. The short only 1R test failed. The both direction 1R test finished around break even, but slightly negative. And now the long only 2R test finished positive with a better net profit. That gives us a better picture of the raw opening range breakout idea. The long side is still performing better than the short side. And increasing the target to 2R improved the long only version. Now the next step is to keep building. The point of this series is simple. One idea, one change at a time. Backtest the results. Let the data decide. This video is only for testing and education. I'm not telling anyone to trade this strategy. I'm just showing the rules, the report, and the results. That's it for this test. Now we keep building.